Hello guys, you are looking at my new router. This is the Netgate SG-1000. This is from the same people that are behind pfSense, and this device will be running pfSense. Now, when I first discovered pfSense, it was from this nefarious pack kitty / hacker that everybody knows. The FBI knows, Anonymous knows, everyone. And that's the only basically good thing I got out of this person is I discovered pfSense. Ever since I laid eyes on pfSense, I got interested in it and want to learn more about it. Now, the new interface in 2.3 and everything is just beautiful. Now, this device will be shipping with 2.4 beta, but 2.4 stable will be coming out soon. So hopefully by the time I get this, which will be tomorrow, stable will be out. So stable should be out sometime within a few weeks, I would expect. Okay, so I really wanted to actually use pfSense on the network. Okay, there's several reasons. I'm not going to sit here and state the reasons for using pfSense. This video is just going to be on this device. Okay, unboxing this device, setting it up, initial review, stuff like that. That's what this is about. Okay, so I pre-ordered this device all the way back on September 7th. Okay, so it has been a while since I've had this. They just started shipping them last Friday. So they've been working on this device for about 3 months. Okay, so it was a long wait, but the wait is almost over. Okay, as you can see, here is the UPS shipping for my device, and it will be here tomorrow. Right now it's in Findlay, Ohio, which isn't very far from me. Okay, so if I was to go to maps.google.com and go to Findlay, Ohio, you can see it was in Mame right there. Went down 75. It's in Findlay, Ohio, and I'm right over here. Okay, Mount Vernon, just a little bit south of it, probably right at the tip of the cursor. Okay, so that's where I'm at. So it's on its way. It'll be here tomorrow, and I will be unboxing it, and that will be on this video. Okay, so you get to see this unbox. So let me describe this device itself. Netgate, which is pfSense's hardware company, they're ran by the same people. Okay, Netgate is pfSense. Okay, Netgate is just their hardware brand. Okay, so the actual PCB, the actual board itself, is made and designed by ADI, but the pfSense developers, the Netgate people, they got in on the design as well. Okay, so as you can see, this is actually the people that actually made the board, ADI Engineering, and Netgate really works well with ADI Engineering. Okay, they are like partners almost. So here's basically their spec sheet of it and everything, and you can see has the picture of basically the board layout and everything. It tells you all the specifications. You have the specifications again, okay? And then you have an actual PDF from ADI that explains it. And I'm just going to go briefly through this. So as you can see, a Texas Instruments CPU. It actually uses Kingston RAM, which is very nice. Kingston is a known brand for RAM, so that's pretty good. You have a 5 volt DC inputs, or you can use this 2-pin connector. You have the two 1 gigabit Ethernet NICs, and this is actually using a switch, and you're gonna have Texas Instruments MAC addresses on both of these. Okay, so it's implementing the CPU. And then you can also put in an SD card for more storage, or to run the operating system off of. You have an SD boot option. All you gotta do is just short them pads, and by short that just means make them touch. Gives you information on the USB header, the DC power header, all that stuff. Debug LEDs, and you can see a nice close-up of the Kingston RAM. So that's that. Let's describe this device, okay? All of their other devices are big and expensive. So they wanted to make something more geared towards the home user, okay? Because when you think about Netgate and pfSense, they're mainly selling towards people like universities and businesses and corporate and stuff like that, okay? pfSense is used everywhere, okay? pfSense is used by NASA, United States Army, the FBI, Harvard University, a lot of big companies, and the government and everybody uses pfSense, okay? But pfSense is also used by the home user, okay? So they wanted a device that would be capable of providing enough speed for the average home user and being around the price point for the average home user as well. I pre-ordered this back in September for $150. Now what sucked is I also had to pay for the shipping, which was about another $16, and that is from UPS Ground, but that is all right. I do wish they would have covered the shipping and all that, but I really wanted this product. I really wanted to go pfSense, and I really wanted a device from them. Now you'd be wondering, why don't you just build a computer and stuff, blah, blah, no computer, be cheaper and better, blah, blah. No, it wouldn't. One reason is I don't have to worry about putting everything there, and another reason is power consumption. This device right here, the SG-1000, will use about $3.15 a year with my with AP Ohio. I'm at 12 cents a kilowatt hour. I'm at the US average, and that's what the bill says. So this little device will use $3 a year, okay? Compare that to, say, a regular router or anything else. You're looking at, maybe $10, 12. But a computer, you're looking at a lot more, okay? Maybe $60, maybe $100. It depends how big the computer is. So this thing right here will save you a lot in power. It'll be more efficient. It'll be a lot smaller, take up less space. It'll be supported by the pfSense developers. You'll get full support and everything. I also get pfSense Gold, and there's just a lot of good things that come out of getting this product. And you also support the pfSense project as well. So I decided to get this device. So let's go ahead and digress. You get to see I actually got in red, but they also have it in black. They have vents. They have a heatsink on the CPU. They show an optional SD card, but it also has built-in eMMC flash that will have the operating system installed on it. So this is just where they describe it really quick. Okay, you get comes with 1 year subscription of pfSense Gold and $99 value. Now, as far as the NAT table, this will handle a maximum of 200,000 connections. Basically, that's how big you can have the state table be. And if you think about the average typical home router, does anywhere from 1,024 for the state table, anywhere up to, say, maybe 10K. So compare. You can see a drastic change right there, okay? And this just tells you common use cases, software features, which it's running pfSense. If you don't know what pfSense is, then read up on it, okay? I can tell you in our video what pfSense itself is, but we are just concerned on this device. Let's go ahead and look at the spec sheet, okay? It's going to use a Texas Instruments AM3352 ARM processor at 600 megahertz, including a crypto accelerator, which that would help with, say, OpenVPN. 1 core, 512 megabytes of DDR3 RAM, and at the price point, it's not going to be ECC, which is all right. No router that you can buy off the shelf or anywhere has ECC RAM unless it's a corporate router that's like a few $1,000s at the minimal. Storage options. On board, it has 4 gig eMMC flash, 2 1 gigabit RJ45 NICs that are going to be Texas Instruments, 1 times 2.0 OTG, micro USB, 200K, state table, power is 5 volt DC. It will come with the power adapter, and I'll show all that in the unboxing. There's your dimensions, passive cooling. They have a hardware warranty of 12 months, 2.5 watts idle. So there you go, okay? There's the technical specifications. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at some pictures. Also in black. I have it in red. And there is your board look. Okay. So let's go ahead and you also have the warranty on this. So if you get a DOA or anything, they will take care of it. Okay. So there's just a warranty on that. Go ahead and go back. Take a look at the quick start guide really quick. This just says, thank you for purchasing your Netgate SG-1000 pfSense security gateway. And you get you get access to the pfSense book, which is basically, it will explain everything about pfSense, how to do certain scenarios. It's basically a book written by the pfSense developers describing every single configuration option of pfSense and every single different scenario. It's really, really good documentation. Get access to their monthly hangouts and much more. You just have to register once you get your product. Underneath the SG-1000, you will have a serial number which you'll use to register that. So you get your quick start guide. It tells you I/O ports and how to configure it and set it all up. There's your ports. Your LAN right there is going to be CPSW, and SW means switch 1. WAN is CPSW 0. And the rest is just basically default subnet it binds to and everything else. And I will show you guys all this when I get the device and set it up. Okay. So still in Finley. Let's see if it's updated yet. Nope, still in the red. And you might be talking performance. What can this little device do? Now, like I said, this was geared towards the home user. And this device is a tiny ARM processor device that is the size of a credit card. Okay. If you have fiber optic internet, 1 gigabit fiber to the home, this is not the product for you. It's not geared towards you. So this device will do about 600 megabit UDP and about 350-ish megabit TCP. Okay, that is with the firewall and everything on. Okay, so they did basically iPerf and everything else, and they have the rates that they were getting, and they are improving the Ethernet driver and everything to even get even more. Okay. So as you can see, seeing about 330 megabits TCP there. Or actually 363. But for a small little device, this is very good performance. You may be thinking 300 megabit throughput, not fast enough. Actually, the only people with 300 megabit or faster are people with either fiber to the home or DOCSIS 3.1. Okay, so this device was geared towards the average home consumer. The average home consumer doesn't have speeds this fast. If you do have speeds this fast, you want to try out another one of their products. But for me, I am in the country. I'm on DSL, 10 meg internet. This is going to be perfect for it. Okay, it's going to handle it. even if they upgrade fiber to the home in the area and I get like 100 meg up and down internet, this will handle it just fine. Okay, it's a very good device. Now, I don't know if I already said this or not, but concerning the name SG-1000, no, this does not mean the Sega SG-1000 console. Okay. Now, I don't know if this was like a coincidence or what, but it's pretty funny that they're the same model number names, but they're basing it off of their other models. Okay, now that I basically went over the device really quick, I'm going to show you some other things that I am doing to prepare for the SG-1000 tomorrow. First thing was designing my network layout. I like to map my network out. I like to know what's on my network. That way I can reference back, do any traffic shaping or firewall rules or anything. I know what's on my network. I know what IP it has. Everything's mapped out, and that's just the way I like it. Okay, so I mapped out my network, and this is what everything on the network is going to have IP-wise. Is all going to be set with DHCP static leases, and you can see we have our pfSense router right there. We don't have it yet, so we don't have a MAC address or anything for it, but this is basically going to be the layout. We're going to have 2 wireless access points, and we actually already have these. That's why we have the MAC addresses. They've been deployed. Well, actually, the new ACLR hasn't been deployed yet. That will be deployed on Friday. We have to get up in the attic and drill a hole and run a high quality monoprice Cat6 STP cable through the attic. This will be for the upstairs hall, and the old Ubiquity, we're not going to decommission it. We're just going to move it to downstairs and have it cover the basement. Okay, and that will be on a different network because my brother lives downstairs, and he'll have his own Wi-Fi network for all his friends to come over and get on. And basically the rest is, we have our printers, and we have gaming consoles, several of them. We have a PS3, a PS4, an Xbox 360, an Xbox One. Bunch of stuff, bunch of laptops. We have DirecTV DVR devices, bunch of phones, a few tablets and iPads, and a Raspberry Pi, which acts as a mini home server. So this is basically the network layout. Okay, so I already have this already, and I will be putting this stuff in. I'll be adding the PTR records and everything in unbound DNS on pfSense. So everything's going to be mapped out and really nice. So here's just a quick configuration of basically the network pfSense will have. I always like 10 dot networks. I don't like 192.168 bullshit. It's going to be a /24 because obviously this is a home network. I don't need a huge DHCP pool or anything. So here's going to be the DHCP pool. 152 IPs if my math is correct. If it's not, feel free to correct me. But that'll be the DHCP pool, and here will be the static pool where I can set, devices to have a static IP. The search domain will be lan.gtxl.net, and the router hostname will be pfSense.router.gtxl.net. Also, I have some pictures to show you regarding the SG-1000, so let's go ahead and take a look at them. Right here is a pfSense developer running 2.4 developmental on the SG-1000 when they first got it. Here is another look of the SG-1000. Here is compared to a banana. Here is compared right next to a cherry. There's another picture of it. Here's a picture of the initial casing before they matured the casing and add vents. Here's a picture of him hacking away with it. So just several pictures that I just wanted to show you. A pfSense developing it and everything else. You can see here it actually is being shipped and everything in their warehouse in Austin, Texas. You can see several of them just lined up being processed and shipped out. And upon this, use one of those boxes is mine. Mine was shipped out on Saturday, which was nice. And you can see lots of them laying there at the end. Very nice. So I just wanted to show you them pictures and stuff before we move on to the unboxing. I'll see you back here when I get this device tomorrow, Thursday. We'll be unboxing it and setting it up. I know I kept talking and talking and talking, but I just wanted to go over the basics, and I'm ready for this device. Okay guys, so it finally came. We now have the pfSense router. As you can see, here is the packaging that it came in. It says UPS ground. And we have some nice looking pfSense tape on the sides there. And on the back, it just shows where they got the boxes from, uline.com. It says 9 by 6 by 2. That's the dimensions of this box. And they used UPS ground. Okay? As you can see, if you can tell, I don't know if you can see very well, where it's shipped from, pfSense Warehouse, Rubicon Communications LLC, which is a part of Netgate, and they're out of Austin, Texas. Okay, so now we are going to open this up. I do want to keep this box because I want to keep the pfSense tape. I wish they'd actually give me like a roll of pfSense tape almost. So I'm going to try to slice this carefully down the middle without doing too much damage. So there we go. Inside we got ourselves another encapsulated box. Then we also have our order form, which I'm not going to show on camera because it contains shipping information. As you can see here, it just shows it was assembled and tested, and it has a official seal of verification. I will keep this and scan in to a PNG. Okay, so here is the actual little box it comes in. It's encapsulated in. So let's go ahead and open it up. Maybe. So. Okay, so there we go. And it's in there. Wow, that is tiny. Okay. So here we finally got it open. Okay, you probably can't see that very well, but we finally have it open. Okay, so inside the box we have our SG-1000 right here. That comes with a power adapter. And it looks like they include some cables, probably the serial OTG console cable, okay, which will, it'll be a serial, well, it emulates serial, but uses a USB micro bus, okay. And they also included 4 rubber feet that are stickers. You just cut this out and put it on the bottom. So right there, we got our power adapter. But also the plastic thing that holds these things, they even have it engraved with their logo. Look at that. That says Netgate right there. Their just attention to detail is just astounding. Okay, so they even have their logo in there. So they have vendors. They have vendors for their boxes, their casing, everything. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the SG-1000 out first. Now, at first glance, this thing is tiny. I can put it in my hand easily. Okay, this thing is small, okay? Plenty of vents. The vents are huge enough. This thing is going to get some air. You can even see the CPU is heat sinked. And on the back has my serial number, so I'm going to have to, like, cover that up. But let's go ahead and get it out of the packaging. They also say 5-volt power supply only. They don't want you to blow this up. Don't be, you know, Bob the Builder. Okay. Whoa. Feeling this thing, oh my goodness. It just feels, the metal, it feels like it's just finished. This thing feels softer than like anything iPhone could ever do. I mean, this thing it's kind of like silky almost. I don't know how to explain it. Ben, how's this feel?
It feels like what's on a car. It feels like that.
But
softer.
The feel of this, it feels premium. This feels like a fucking product. Okay, so we have right here, it says Netgate. We have our console USB port, and we have our USB OTG, okay, port. You won't be using these much unless you need a console window. And then we have our 5-volt DC in, which is a -.plus type of connector. And then we have a power LED, okay? On the back, we have our serial number and model number, SG-1000. It says Netgate, along with a QR code and country of origin, USA. And just says don't dispose, okay? Now, I will use a picture for this, but very, very nice product. And as you can see, just very, very, very nice. Now, right here is our LAN and WAN ports. And just very, very, very nice. Okay, metal. These are metal ports. Very nice. Okay. So you can also take this apart. You can open this up, okay? And I will demonstrate that here after a bit. Also, we have our power supply. Okay, whoa, this feels heavy. I mean, it doesn't, not too heavy, but this feels like the plastic on it even feels a bit more of a premium build. I'm actually surprised. I thought this would be like a cheap little knockoff power supply. But even the cable even feels a bit thicker. This is surprising. This is wow. So the power supply comes from Channel Well Technology, CWT. Model number 2ABB015B US. Outputs 5 volts DC with 3 amps. And it is UL Energy Verified. Okay, so this, even the power supply, I thought this would be like a little cheap knockoff power supply. Even the power supply feels premium, and it's actually name brand. The power supply is actually name brand. I'm actually surprised. This is just, so far, I'm just impressed. I am just, wow. Okay, so size-wise, they say this thing's the size of a credit card. So let's see if that's true. I have a Google Wallet card, which is the same size as a credit card. And if you look at the sizes right there, you can clearly tell this right here, it's just a tad bit bigger, okay? Just by a hair. See? This thing is actually smaller than the credit card. Look at that. So this thing is credit card size, at least in dimensions, okay? So very, very impressive product. They also gave us our free Netgate secure network start here. Get free pfSense Gold, and we'll show that when we get on the computer. Now with this device, since you only have 2 ports, you're going to want to make sure that you have a switch. Okay, this is going to give your Ethernet ports for your LAN network. And then you want to make sure you also have a wireless access point. Okay, this is a Ubiquiti APAC-LR. Okay, this will give you your Wi-Fi link for your network. And of course, you're going to need some Ethernet cables, so I recommend you get Monoprice. Okay, Monoprice makes very, very, very high quality. And as you can tell, I have hundreds of different Ethernet cables from them, various sizes under my bed. So whenever I need an Ethernet cable, I got it. So this is going to be my setup. This is how we're going to do it. As far as the modem, we have an Action Tech PK 5001A that came from CenturyLink, and as you can see, I duct taped. I used black duct tape over the CenturyLink logo so it won't light up or anything. But you want to make sure that you can put your modem in bridge mode. That way, it just provides a layer 2 link for your pfSense router. Okay, so now we're going to show how you can open up the SG-1000. We basically went over it. I showed you some pictures. It's very nice. Very, very soft metal. This metal feels very premium. This is just a very, very nice product. We're also going to show putting on these rubber feet as well, because I do not want this to slide around or anything. So on the bottom of this, there's a model number, of course. But we have one Phillips screw, which basically holds this on. So I'm going to go ahead and unscrew that off camera. Okay? Okay, so I have the screw off, and once you unscrew it, it basically slides right out like that. Okay, look at that. Are you seeing this on camera? And there we go. We have our product inside. Look at that. Look at those internals. Okay, this is we're recording this in 4K. The video will be in 1080, but with 4K you're gonna see a lot more. It's gonna be at a higher bit rate. Okay, so looking now, you can see the internals a lot better than just a picture. Okay, look at that. You have your Kingston RAM right there. You have the heatsink sitting on top of the CPU. You have your slot for your micro SD card slot. You have UDE. This is just like a brand that makes the actual RJ45 jacks for the NICs. Look at that. So you can now see the internals. Very, very nice. So we have it open now. All it does is this case just slides right out. Okay, so it's very, very nice. I don't know what else to say. You also have some headers there to do developer stuff and debugging. So let's go ahead and put this case back on. Okay, this shaft goes on there. There we go. It just slides right back on like that, and I'll go ahead and screw it back into place. And then we'll go ahead and put our rubber feet on. Now this screw is extremely tiny, so take caution when you want to take your SG-1000 apart. And guess what? Unlike other routers, you do not avoid a warranty by opening this up. Because the people that buy this, everybody that buys this is the geeks and stuff, people that know what the hell they're doing. Okay? I mean, if you buy it like a Netgear Nighthawk, you don't know what the hell you're doing. Okay? But people that buy this, they know what the hell they're doing about networking. So, let's go ahead and, without exposing my serial number, let's go ahead and put these rubber feet on. So I'm going to put these rubber feet on. What you got to do is you got to cut this into 4s, okay? Just get like a pair of scissors. And you just cut this into 4s. Just like that. And the reason why they didn't put these on themselves is they wanted to give you an option. They wanted to make it up to you if you want to have these on or not. And then you just peel it off. It's like a sticker, see? It has adhesive on it. Okay. Okay, so I now put the feet on. I know not the cleanest job, but smooth, so you won't be able to tell. I now put these rubber feet on. They can come right back off if you need to take them right off. You can buy new little rubber feet. I mean, just something you can pick up like the dollar store or something. But these are now on, so that way when I put it on the surface, this will not move around and slide. Okay. So we're now going to go ahead and set this thing up. Okay, so let's stop talking and let's start doing some action. Now, the current setup is over here. We can see we have the 2-wire running up here, and we got our 8-port gigabit Netgear switch, and we're going to have to be doing some work here. So this is going to be a while, but we will be back when we have more progress made. Okay, when you purchase your SG-1000, the people over at pfSense/Netgate, it's the same thing. People over at Netgate give you a free 1-year subscription to pfSense Gold, and you basically can sign up for free access using the serial number on the bottom of your SG-1000. So I'm going to show you a little bit about what pfSense Gold is and how you would register for that, and what are some of the goodies. Now, as you see, this is the little card that they give us in our box. It says sign up for free access to pfSense Gold. It includes the pfSense book, Google Hangouts with the developers. That will be a monthly thing, and more. Also, premium documentation, quick start guide and reference, and also pfSense Gold. If you was to purchase it normally for $99 a year, it also supports the project, the pfSense project. It's kind of like also like a donation as well to help support the developers to keep the project running. Now, to register you for your free year of pfSense Gold for purchasing the SG-1000, we would head over to netgate.com/register. Okay, so on pfSense.org, this basically explains a little bit about the gold membership if you was to just purchase it. But since you have the SG-1000, you get a year free. But it's normally $99 a year. It is designed to provide special benefits to our members while supporting ongoing development of the open source pfSense project. It includes resources like our library of developer-led videos and digital living book on pfSense. Here's some of the services. You get access to the pfSense Virtual Security Gateway Appliance for VMware, the pfSense book, 700 plus pages in HTML, PDF, and other formats available for immediate viewing after purchase, monthly online Google Hangouts. This is with the core developers and occasional special guest, and you can also view all the past videos on their videos page. Very helpful. You can find a lot of information about pfSense because each month they talk about a certain different topic regarding pfSense. You also get access to their online auto configuration backup, where you basically back up your configuration for pfSense, and many more features are being planned. So sign up for access, you go to netgate.com/register. If you purchase an SG-1000, register for pfSense Gold. So you can go ahead and click register, and then basically you just type in your first, last name, your email address. You don't have to type in all this stuff, just a username, a password, and then you enter your serial number that's on the back of your SG-1000 and then hit next. Now I already have an account, so once you have an account, to access your pfSense Gold benefits, you go to portal.pfsense.org and then log in. So I'm going to do that. Now once you're signed in, it'll say pfSense Gold for the SG-1000, and it'll tell you when your subscription expires, which will be a year from when you registered. You want to register it as soon as possible. That way your serial number is still active and everything. But as you can see, you can renew your subscription payment history, which I didn't pay anything. I didn't have to enter my credit card or anything. You can edit your profile, etc. But right here is basically the gist. Okay, you got your pfSense book, HTML version, which gives you all these configuration options. Look at all this stuff. You can select all one and then view documentation on how to do that specific thing. So say we want to learn about VLANs. You just click on VLANs, and then it basically explains a little bit about them, and it can go into it can explain how VLANs function. Okay, like VLANs and security. Like this is basically an HTML format that really explains a lot of things. But you also have the pfSense book in different formats. Okay, so you have it as an EPUB, a .mobi, a PDF, and this is for version 2.2 if you want like the old version. But if you want for the latest version, the 2.3 version, you would just click on this one. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm going to show you what this download looks like. I'm going to go over it briefly because for copyright issues, they probably do have this book copyrighted, and it's only for paid members, so there's a reason for that. Okay, but I'll give you a brief look of what this PDF download looks like. So we have the pfSense book, and over here you have just all these different sections of the book that you can go to. Okay, which is very nice. This has been updated since July 1st, 2016, so it's pretty recent. And this PDF contains 639 pages. Okay, so here's your basically your glossary or whatever you call it. And as you can see, it's a pretty beefy book. I mean, it does have a lot of stuff in here, configuration wise, how you'd set stuff up. Okay, so when I'm bored, some nights I will read through some sections of this book. I do want to read through it. I do want to get knowledge about all these various concepts of pfSense. This is very good. This is a very good resource. Okay, so it's a very good book to have, so you can get the full potential out of pfSense. So they provide you the pfSense book in either an HTML version or downloads. I like the PDF. That way I have it as reference. They have the pfSense guidebook, which is probably this just helps you through different configurations. They don't have much here yet, it looks like, but this is setting up high availability, which would be like having 2 pfSense routers. That way, if one goes down, you have another as a backup, and multi-WAN and stuff like that, and CARP. So you have that. You have the Hangouts archive. Now this is something that I really like. This is one of the most things I like. I like the book and I like the Hangouts archive. The Hangouts archive includes every single Hangout that they've done, or at least recorded. They record all their Hangouts, and they go over a topic each time, and they go in depth about it, and they do troubleshooting for said topic, and you can ask questions with the pfSense developers, and they can help you with your use case scenario. It is very, very nice, and you can just click on one that you want to watch. They have DHCP server providing local DNS, that would be Unbound. Connectivity troubleshooting, if you're having problems with connectivity, how can you help diagnose this and fix connectivity problems. NAT, that goes in like port forwarding and outbound NAT and static ports, stuff like that. Multi-WAN, traffic shaping, how to optimize your network for stuff like buffer bloat, etc. Creating a DMZ. This is just a preview for the 2.3, the new Bootstrap GUI that they made. Site-to-site VPN connections, port forwarding troubleshooting, remote access VPNs, firewall and NAT fundamentals, introduction to multi-LAN, intro to packet analysis. And each one of these is a video that's about an hour long with the pfSense developers, where they basically discuss said topic, and they will actually go through it. They have example routers up to do that, and you have everybody else in the Google Hangout as well, all the clients, where they can ask questions at the end, and the pfSense developers help you out. But they just have so many things, like wireless access points. They explain that. If you want to provide a Wi-Fi free network, what's the best way of going about it? And that would be getting a wireless access point, say Ubiquiti or a Ruckus. Ubiquiti mainly for home users because it's more cheaper. It's a lot more affordable. Whereas Ruckus is like a grand each. That's not going to be affordable for your consumer. Ruckus for like corporate environments that can afford it. You have high availability, IPv6 basics. I mean, they have a lot, and I do plan on watching all these just to increase my knowledge. I do know a lot about networking and pfSense, but no one knows everything, and there's always stuff to be learned and things to pick up on. So I will be definitely going through a lot of these, because they're actually kind of entertaining sometimes too, depending on the topic. I mean, some stuff can put you to sleep if you're not paying attention, but some of this stuff can get really interesting, and you can see how powerful pfSense actually is. They give you the USB memstick installer image, which would be basically the AMD 64 for your Netgate SG-1000. November 2016 Hangout. Okay, this tells you how you join the meeting. So if you actually, you can click right here to actually join the next meeting, when they're going to have it, what date, and all that. And you can join the meeting at fuzz.me. And I will be censoring this link because it is for members only. Join us Wednesday, November 23rd, 2016. That's already passed, so they will be putting up the December one in here, hopefully shortly. You also have access to the pfSense Virtual Security Gateway appliance. You have product manuals, which I believe is already public, but you have product manuals, bundled support activation, and SG-1000 firmware, which gives you your images if you need to download your firmware for your SG-1000 to, say, reflash. But in a nutshell, that's what you get for free for a year, and it's pretty useful. It's very useful. You can learn more about pfSense. You can really dig into it. So I just wanted to show you a quick look at the pfSense code. Okay, there's one more thing I'd like to show you before we actually talk about setting up the SG-1000. And this is basically Netgate's Twitter. This is pfSense's hardware vendor. They're the same people behind it. I wanted to show you a quick video they posted about how they basically lasered on the labeling for the SG-1000. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to quickly set up your Netgate SG-1000 pfSense router / firewall. Now before we get started with your SG-1000, you don't just want to put it straight into your network. You have to make sure you have all the equipment ready and necessary to utilize the SG-1000. First thing you're going to need is the ISP modem, or if you have fiber to the home internet, this will be your ONT, optical network terminal. Next thing you're going to need is a switch. If you want Wi-Fi for your network, which is most likely 99% of people will, you're going to want to have a wireless access point, as SG-1000 is just a router / firewall. It does not include a built-in wireless access point. You're also going to need Ethernet cables and basic knowledge of networking. This product and pfSense is geared towards people that know a thing or two about networking. So if you don't know much about networking, this may not be the product for you. Now the ISP modem. We want just a layer 2 link from the ISP. We don't want a double NAT situation. We want your pfSense router to obtain your public IP address and bind to it. If ISP modem is a modem / router combo, such as a residential gateway, you will have to set it in bridge mode. Now before you set this in bridge mode, disable the wireless interface. That basically means disable Wi-Fi on this device, disable the DHCP server, firewall / NAT, tier 096, and quality of service. If you can't disable all this, at least disable some of the main things, such as the Wi-Fi, the DHCP server. Disable what you can, and then set it in bridge mode. Now, cable modems tend to be best with just providing a layer 2 uplink. When you have a DSL provider, they tend to give you modem / router combos called residential gateways. But if you have a cable ISP such as Comcast or Time Warner Cable, they might give you a standalone modem and a router. What you would do is throw away the router or return it to the ISP, keep the standalone modem, and you'll use your pfSense SG-1000 as your new router. Now, if you use point-to-point over Ethernet, PPoE, note down your credentials. PPoE is mostly used with DSL providers. Windstream is one that uses PPoE. CenturyLink on the West Coast tends to use PPoE, but in my region, CenturyLink uses DHCP. Now, in order to find your PPoE credentials, go into the ISP provided modem, and it might be in there under broadband settings. If you're unable to pull it from the web interface of the ISP provided modem, try to SSH into it, into the ISP modem, and see if you can pull it from a configuration file. If you still cannot find your PPoE credentials, you will need to contact your ISP support and get your credentials from them. Now, if you have a DSL provider or if your ISP provided you a modem that is also a router and wireless access point and everything combined, basically a residential gateway and not just a standalone modem, you will have to put it in bridge mode and disable all the other services on it. This is the modem that I'm using, and I basically went to CenturyLink's online support, the advanced tab, and right here they tell me how to put it in bridging mode, RFC 1483. And right here they basically show me how to log into the interface and put it into transparent bridging mode. I go to WAN settings, transparent bridging, hit apply. I do this after I disable the wireless access point on it, disable DHCP server, and all the other stuff. I set into transparent bridging mode, and now it just acts as just a modem, provides a layer 2 uplink. That is it. Some other notes. Some ISPs may use VLANs. Please note what VLAN number if they do. If you plug in your SG-1000 and you're not getting an IP address from DHCP, or you have your correct PPOE credentials and all that, you're still not pulling an IP address, your ISP could be using a VLAN, okay? So search around on Google before you start setting up the SG-1000 to make sure that you don't require a VLAN. Google Fiber requires a VLAN tag of number 2. CenturyLink on the West Coast uses a VLAN tag of 201. Now, there may be other ISPs out there that use VLAN tags. I know in the UK, almost every provider over there uses VLAN tags, but over here, those are some 2 main fiber to the home providers that use VLANs. Some ISPs may use 802.1x authentication. A big offender is AT&T's Uverse platform, including their fiber to the home internet. Now, 802.1x authentication, if your ISP does this, which is very rare, but if they do this, you're basically shit out of luck. That means you have to use their provided residential gateway / modem / router. These are really multi-devices all built into one, so they're just really residential gateways, because hard-coded in that residential gateway is the SSL certificate or credentials to authenticate to 802.1x. And if your ISP does that, there's no way you can use your own equipment on their network. You could try go into business class, and hopefully they will remove that restriction, but AT&T is a huge offender of this, and it's just disgusting. Some ISPs may want you to release your previous DHCP lease. Verizon Fios is known for this. Some may only accept your previous customer premise equipment MAC address. So in order to get an IP, some ISPs require that you have a specific MAC address. And if this is the case, you will just, when you go to configure your SG-1000 on the WAN interface, you will spoof the MAC address of your old router. Look on the back of the old router, it should say the WAN MAC address. You're going to put that into the WAN interface of pfSense under the spoof MAC address field. That's not always required, but if you're unable to pull an IP address, you may have to use your old MAC address. Switches. The SG-1000 only has one LAN NIC. It's intended to be used with a switch for your LAN network. For your use case, you may not need a whole lot of ports, so I included a couple various switches that you can pick up, depending on your use case scenario. Now, I recommend you get a Netgear gigabit switch, and don't get 100 megabit switches. Don't get any cheap switches. They're not worth it. So the first switch is the Netgear 8-port gigabit GS108-400, which -400 just means revision 4. NAS means North American version. Now this is currently going for $46, but the price always varies. Every day the price is something different, but I was able to pick mine up for about $40. If you need more ports, there's the Netgear 16-port gigabit GS116NA, which means North America, and that's going around $78. I was able to get mine for $70. You can get 100 megabit switches cheaper, but don't. Don't go cheaper, and don't buy cheap brands. Please pick one of the 2 that I have selected for you. They will be more reliable and they will last longer, and you want to have gigabit switches. It is 2016. I mean, shoot, 10 gigabits is going to become the norm before you know it. Now, if your ISP requires a VLAN, get a Netgear managed or smart gigabit switch that can do VLANs. The switch that you see on screen right now is a recommended switch that can do VLAN tagging. Now these cost a little bit more than your unmanaged switch, like the previous two I mentioned. But if your ISP requires a VLAN tag, please pick up this switch, okay? You can also get it in 16-port models, etc. But this is the 8-port model, and it is a smart switch because you can set VLAN tags on it. Now the reason I want you to do VLAN tags on the switch is it will take the load off the SG-1000. The SG-1000 can do VLAN tags, but you're putting a lot of load on that SG-1000, and it'd be much more efficient if you just got a switch that can do VLAN tags. So if your ISP requires VLAN tags, please get the switch that you see on screen right now. Now, if you want to provide Wi-Fi for your network, you're going to need to pick up a wireless access point. Now, I recommend you go with Ubiquiti because price-wise, it is the most consumer-friendly. There's also Ruckus and other brands such as Aruba, there's Cisco, there's a lot of other different vendors for wireless access points, but they're going to run you about $1,000 a piece. Not very good for your home consumer. Ubiquiti provides wireless access points that are enterprise grade and actually used in corporations, universities, colleges, government buildings, and they have a consumer-friendly price tag. I recommend you get the Ubiquiti UAP AC-LR. Now AC means it's their newest models that can support 802.11ac, and LR means their long-range model. They have about 3 or 4 different models, but I don't want you to have to put up multiple wireless access points in your house. That's why you get one AC-LR long range, and it should cover your entire house and be cost efficient. If you're on the cheap side, you can go with the UAP AC Lite. So here is what a Ubiquiti looks like. You can pick them up on Amazon, Newegg, and various other vendors. But here's their official site. Here's the AP-AC-LR. It's an 802.11ac long-range wireless access point. You mount this on your ceiling or wall, preferably the ceiling, and you'll have to make an attic run and make a Cat6a run in the attic. Here are the other models. If you're interested, the AC Lite will just do slower speeds. You know, each one of these has different MIMO configurations. Like I believe the AC Lite is like 2x2 MIMO, and this is 3x3 MIMO. But like I said, if you're on a really tight budget and you don't have a big house or you're just in like a small apartment, the UAP AC Lite will be fine. Any other house, any other scenario, I recommend you get the AC-LR. You can get the AC Pro, but like I said, I recommend you get the AC-LR for your configuration. So you can pick up the Ubiquiti UAP AC-LR for $108. Like I said, this prices vary, and I was able to get mine for $70. Ethernet cables. When it comes to Ethernet cables, I recommend you use monoprice. They provide superior quality cables at a superior low price. Now, if you're on a budget, you can get the Cat6 24AWG UTP, which is untwisted pair. They are available in various lengths and various colors. However, I recommend you spend a few more pennies and get the Cat6a 24AWG STP. They're in various lengths, but they are blue only, which isn't a problem. They cost a little more, but price-wise, monoprice beats all the big name stores. You go to Walmart, you go to Staples, Best Buy. Say you want a 50-foot Ethernet cable, right? At Best Buy or Walmart, you're looking at $60. And what do you get? UTP, Cat5e, and usually it's not very thick. The AWG is so high on it, they're so slim, flimsy, just fucking awful. Awful. Monoprice, you can get the same cable for like what? $15. You can get Cat6a STP 24 AWG, very, very thick, high quality cable for a much lower price. This is why I recommend you go to Monoprice, get your Ethernet cables. Their quality of their cables is just amazing for the price. And the price is better than anyone out there. So if you're on a budget, here's Cat6 unshielded twisted pair. Your typical size, 5 foot, $1.39. Seriously, $1.39. You can get various colors. You got black, blue, gray, green, orange, pink, which are out of stock, purple, red, white, and yellow. Say you just want a standard 10-foot cable. This is Cat 6 UTP, $2. Say you want a 20-foot, $3.79. I'm not joking, $3.79. Cat 6, 24 AWG, very fucking thick, UTP. Say you want a 50-foot, $7.50 for a 50-foot cable. Very high quality. This is going to be better than any cable you can get from Walmart, Staples, Best Buy, Target, you name it. And it's going to be much more higher quality. You go to Best Buy, Walmart, they're probably going to give you a Cat 5e for about $60 for 50 foot. It's not worth it. 100 foot, $13. Now, this is if you're on a budget. I recommend you get Cat 6A STP. That means inside it is shielded. This can be up against a 600-volt electric line and not experience interference, basically. It's very, very heavily shielded and it's future-proof. If you're going to run these cables through your walls, your attics and stuff, to say wireless access points, etc., you're going to want to get this cable. 5 foot, $3. 10 foot, $5. These prices still beat anything you can get in the store. And this is like the superior quality. This is like the best you can buy. There's Cat 7, but Cat 6A is like just one little knock below it. 20 foot, $7. $7. Now you can only get this one in blue, but that's no big problem at all for me. 30 foot, $9. 50 foot, $13. See, it's a little bit more expensive, but the prices are still very, very good compared to anything you get at the store. At the store, paying $50, it's going to cost you an arm and a leg. Get this cable. If you can get STP, please get STP. 75 foot, $20. 100 foot, $25. Now, 100 foot is if you're going to go across your entire house. I have 100 foot going from my room all the way downstairs to a switch in the basement. They are very, very long, okay? Your most use case scenarios is like going to be like maybe a 20 foot, okay? That's probably the most common size that you're going to need. $7, okay? So here's where you're going to get your Ethernet cables, monoprice.com. Now, when you go to initially set up the SG-1000, you don't want to connect it to your entire network. You first want to go to its web interface and configure it. Make sure that you have your ISP modem in bridge mode, or if it's just a standalone modem, you want to connect it to the WAN NIC on the SG-1000. Do not connect anything else to the modem except the SG-1000. Then you want to find a computer that you are going to use to initially set this up with. Connect it via Ethernet to the LAN port on the SG-1000. Once you have that done, you're going to go to 192.168.1.1 in your web browser, such as Google Chrome or Firefox. Proceed to the setup. Okay, so we now have it plugged in and we have it connected, the LAN Ethernet port to our computer here. So we are going to go ahead and this is already pulled from DHCP, so it pulled an IP of 192.168.1.100. Let's go ahead and connect to this device. We'll try admin pfSense, and we're in. Okay, so we're now configuring our pfSense router. Let's click next on this. pfSense Gold, next. Okay, so for this just simple demo, we'll just use that. We'll just keep it at that for this simple demo. Okay, so our WAN interface is going to use DHCP, and we're actually going to uncheck both of these for now, because we still want access to the modem. The LAN IP address is going to be 10.0.0.1. That's a valid IP with a subnet of 24. And this is going to be our administrator password for our router. Copy. So there's our password. Hit next. And now reload. It's going to reload the new changes. And obviously, this isn't going to load because it's going to change its IP address. There we go. And we're back in. We're back in our router. Okay, after the initial setup wizard, once you log in for the second time, you will be greeted with the dashboard. Now this is just a picture because I have to censor out my serial number, but from here on you can do all your advanced configurations with your pfSense router now, such as go and configure your firewall, port forwards, and do other system tweaks. Now that you have done the basic setup wizard of pfSense, your SG-1000 is basically set up, but there's a lot more you can do to configure it, such as firewall rules, etc. Here are a few tweaks to make your SG-1000 run a little bit smoother. Go to the System tab, Advanced, Firewall and NAT. Under Firewall Optimization Options drop-down box, change it to Aggressive. Under the State Timeouts, for the TCP established, put in 600 and then hit Save at the bottom. Now we're going to make a tweak to your outbound NAT. By default, pfSense randomizes the source addresses on outbound NAT traffic. So if you're trying to do peer-to-peer stuff, such as gaming consoles, Xbox 360, PS4, Skype, FaceTime, BitTorrent, anything peer-to-peer is going to have some problem punching holes through the firewall. So you need to have static ports outbound. To do this, go to Firewall tab, NAT, Outbound. You'll have radio buttons. Select Manual Outbound NAT Rule Generation. Hit Save right under it. Now on Mappings, select the pencil edit icon for your LAN subnet. This is not 127.0.0./8. Your LAN network is going to be 10.0.0/24 or 192.168.1.1/4. Okay, now select the one that does not have a destination port of 500. Under the translation selection, mark and check for static port. Hit save, then hit save on the main mappings page. Now, since your modem is behind the firewall, behind pfSense on the WAN interface, you cannot access it anymore. If you wish to still access your modem, which is great for viewing DSL or cable line stats or issuing a DSL retrain, you must be in a different LAN subnet from the IP address that the modem statically binds to on bridge mode. Say the IP of the modem is 192.168.0.1. You'll go to Firewall, Virtual IPs, and you'll create a virtual IP on pfSense on the WAN interface of 192.168.0.2 with a /24 subnet. Add a description of access modem. So if your modem has this IP address, you're going to just go one up with a /24 subnet. Now, under Firewall, NAT, Outbound, you're going to create a new mapping with a source of your LAN subnet, a destination of 192.168.0.0/24, basically the modem's subnet. Under Translation, choose the 192.168.0.2 address, select static port, put a description of access modem, and then hit save. On the main mappings, drag the access modem mapping right above your main LAN subnet wildcard mapping, then hit save. If you're a visual person, I'm going to show you basically what a final setup using the SG-1000 would look like. This isn't my setup, but it's just a demonstration of what a typical network using the SG-1000 would look like and how you go about setting it up. So you'd have your modem in bridge mode, or if it's just a standalone modem, you'd have it connected to the LAN port in SG-1000. Then you'd have an Ethernet cable going from the LAN port to a switch. Then you plug all your devices in via Ethernet to the switch. You plug in your Ubiquity to provide you wireless access to your network, Wi-Fi, so all your devices connect to the Ubiquity, and it goes through this port right here. Then, if you say you have a different floor of the house, maybe the basement, you can put a switch in the basement and run a 100-foot or 50-foot Ethernet cable from this switch down to the switch in the basement, and then you can plug up devices via Ethernet to that switch as well. This is what a final topology would look like with the SG-1000. The final result. So now basically pfSense is all set up. Well, the major stuff is set up. I'm not going to go into all the nooks and crannies of how to configure everything on pfSense. This is a final result of the SG-1000 in production. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave a comment or reach us out on IRC at irc.gtaxl.net #GTAXLnet. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.